Well, now it's time for Aida SOLÉ from INIA Madrid. And now it's time for Betula, pendula, and genetic variation in early fitness traits.
Thank you, Raquel. Well, hello, everyone. I'm a PhD student at INIA, and I'm going to present some results within the GenTree project, work package 3.3. And it's about the genetic variation in early fitness traits across European populations of Betula pendula. Oh. Well, my introduction is this, all the talks that have been told today are my presentation. So, in a context of climate change, populations relay into non-excluding strategies that are phenotypic plasticity and adaptation to persist in their current environments. So there has been a lot of studies taking this into account in the last decades, but as Gibson has reviewed, there are, as José Alberto has said, there is few representation of seed and seedling studies, and those are very important stages of life because the regeneration niche of a species could be narrower than the adult tree niche. And then if we only take into account adult tree results, maybe we are underestimating the risk of extirpation of some populations. And on the other hand, there are stages that suffer from high selective pressures. So in this context, our aims were to see if there are among population genetic variation in these early life stages of Betula pendula, if we can find genotype or environment interaction, and if we can find any geographic or environmental patterns driving these populations' divergence. So Betula pendula is a wine-pollinated and wine-dispersed species, so gene flow is expected to be really high between populations. You can see the green area is the distribution area of the species. It has a very continuous distribution in northern and central Europe, but in southern Europe, populations are scattered and mostly in high altitude. So this is the range limit of the species, mostly limited by temperature and drought in summer. The dots you can see there are the populations that were sampled with a very good representation of southern populations. And I don't know if you can see, there are 3 triangles. Those are the 3 common gardens we have implemented that I will tell you later. First of all, this species has 2 main characteristics. One is that there's big differences in germination rates between population, and also there can be differences in the requirements for dormancy release. So the first step we did is a control experiment on chamber to know the baseline germination rates, and also to see if there were differences in pre-chilling requirements. The pre-chilling consisted in moisturizing the seeds before sowing and putting them into cold temperatures. And with the results on this germination testing chamber, we decided how many seeds we needed to sow on the field. So these are the results on the chamber experiment. We found, you can see the different panels are the different treatments, and the populations are on the x-axis. So we found differences between the pre-chilling treatments and also among populations. But here are two main results. One of them is that 3 populations of the center of the distribution are the ones with higher germination rates. And on the other hand, that there are big differences among years. I forget to tell you, but we collected seeds from 2 different years in this population. So you can see that in 2016, there are the germination rates are really high, while in the seeds from the next seed crop had very low rates. And even the population that is nearer to that is this one, didn't emerge at all in chamber, so we didn't try it in the field. Also, the best treatment for germination was the control one, so we didn't pre-chill the seeds before sowing in the field. So, as I told you, we made 3 common gardens, one in Spain, one in Germany, and one in Lithuania. And we measured germination and mortality 3 times a week at the beginning, and then progressively less when the seeds were growing, the seedlings, sorry. At the end of the growing season, we measured height, diameter, and slenderness index. That is the relation between height and diameter, and gives you an information of the mechanical resistance of the seedling to mechanical resistance, and bud burst or spring phenology. Well, we had unexpected results. This map shows you the habitat suitability for the whole genus Betula in Europe. And the common garden in Lithuania, we expected to be the best one because it's on the center of the distribution, and it also has the best environmental characteristic for the species, but we didn't find emergence at all. Maybe it is related because it was an unusual spring this year with very hot temperatures and a lot of weeks without rain. But okay, we have some emergence in the other common gardens. Well, they were not so big. The best population, look only on the panel A. The best population that germinate in Germany, that is on your left, didn't reach even an 8% of emergence, and it was a Lithuanian population. While in Spain, even the better one didn't reach a 1% of emergence in field condition, and it was the German population there. The panel B, it's only a closer look to the populations that didn't reach the 1% emergence rate. Again, as we have seen on the chamber experiment, 3 populations of the center of the distribution from Germany and Lithuania were the best ones also in field conditions. So once the seedlings emerge, we continue measuring, So yes, we also asked whether these differences among populations were related with climatic or geographic patterns. We didn't find a climatic association, but we found a latitudinal gradient, climb, yep. Here you can see germination in chamber. So populations with coming from higher latitudes had more germination rates. Also, the emergence in Germany. I don't want to spend some time here. Mu, it's a parameter related with the amount of emergence, because we had a thorough-inflated model, because we had very, very low seedlings alive. So yeah, this is related with the amount of seedlings, and it also relates with latitude in the same way as in the other common gardens. So neither of the seedlings that emerged in Spain survive at the end of the experiment. So from here to the end of my presentation, there are only data from Germany. And as you can see, these are the surviving seedlings among those that emerged. And we didn't find any difference among population. So no signs of local adaptations, because it was not a German population that emerged more in Germany, it was a Lithuanian one. And even in survival, we didn't find any signs of local adaptations. Even you can see that these populations from Germany didn't survive at all. According to the growth and phenology traits, we found also differences among populations. Here I only present 5 populations that were the ones with more than 25 seedlings alive at the end of the experiment. And you can see that there is like a trend, a latitudinal trend, with southern populations emerging, growing more than the northern ones. And in the case of bud burst, we cannot see this trend, but we have also differences among populations. Again, we ask if there are any geographic or environmental patterns driving these differences, and although it's non-significant, any of them are significant, but we can see a trend, and we don't have to forget that this is the first year growth. So in the literature, it is well known that southern populations tend to grow more. So maybe if we continue with the experiment, this trend would be significant. But here you can see that we didn't see any trend in the timing of bud burst, but it's because it's really well related with the annual mean temperature of the origin of the populations. So maybe I have gone really fast, but well, we have found a population divergence in emergence, but we cannot assure that these differences are genetics, because maybe they are related with the proportion of field seeds, because the same population have always been the better ones. So there are genetic, environmental, and also demographic factors that can be driving these differences, because southern populations tend to be smaller and more scattered. So we cannot assure which factor has more effect. We have found very, very low emergence in field conditions and no seedlings alive, neither in Spain nor Lithuania. And yeah, it's possibly related because these seeds and seedlings are very sensitive to desiccation. So maybe if droughts are going to be more common and more usual, the regeneration and establishment of these species could be a little bit risky. We have to do a lot more of research to assure that. The differences between the seedling survival rates that were near 30% compared to the low emergence rates suggest that the strongest selective pressure is in the transition from seed to seedlings. And according to the growth and phenology traits, we found the same trends as in literature, that growth is more related with the photoperiod and the adaptation to the growth period. So then it's associated with latitude, while bud burst and spring phenology is more associated with temperatures, the chilling temperatures during winter and hotter temperatures during spring. So we found the same trends. Finally, I want to say thank you to everyone, to all the people that collected the seeds, to all the people that implement the common gardens, and to you all for listening to me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Aida. Does anyone have a question?
Hello. Maybe this question is also relevant for José Alberto for the former talk. Did you manage to account somehow for seed size for the results?
Well, in the case of José Alberto, yes. Most of the seedlings of the seeds were weighted even individually. Not in the case of Betula. Seeds are really, really small. It's really, really small. So we have a measure of the population weight. Yeah, but probably it's associated with a number of field seeds. So I cannot assure that a smaller weight means smaller seeds or a more number of unfilled seeds. Sorry, and there was an association between the weight of the seeds and the emergence rate. Yep, sorry.
Yes, you're a little bit disappointed by the rate of germination rate, but actually do you have an idea of what is in nature the germination rate? Maybe it's not higher than that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, in silviculture research, they take into account that only 1% of the seeds would establish. So in Germany, it's not far from that, but in Spain, we didn't even reach 1% of emergence, and we have 1,000% died. So I hope it's not always like that. Thank you for your question.